Hey all, welcome. Okay, that may be good. Looks kind of flickering or low contrast. Why does it look like it's really foggy in here? It's not. Hmm, let me try a little bit of, pardon me for this. Oh, I know. That it helps if you don't point the light right at the phone. Anyway, welcome. Let me fire up chat and see if anyone can actually hear me or if I'm talking to myself. What a frackin' day. I know for a lot of people, 7 p.m. Well, it's 7 p.m. here, Eastern. Day starting to slow down maybe a little bit, dinner time, chilling out, movie, catching a live broadcast from a nerd. Um, but for me, I go to bed 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, so this is right in the middle of the day for me, and so zooming around like a maniac. Um, okay, and I think we're good. No one can say can't hear you, so I think everyone. It's nice to sit though. That's cool. Let's see, who do we have here? Advocate for Liberty. Welcome, Mike Berg. Welcome back, Justin. Thank you for your services today. Brent. Hello, Florida Vapes. Thanks for joining us, Nick McMinn, Tech Guy Brian, Stewart, welcome back. Forrest, hello. Saint of the Sinners, g'day. Duncan Yo-Yo 1, hello. Fogdall, welcome back. Vaping Trucker, good morning, sir. Midnight in the UK. Well, thank you for joining us such a late time over there. Rob Scanlon, hey, welcome back. Joe Ryan, Brad Palmer, hello, welcome. Okay. Just want to sit back and do nothing. Hey, wait, I do that every time, every Sunday at this time. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing fairly well, staying safe, staying sane, and I actually fired up a LED panel that I'd gotten in. Sinatra, New York, New York, being played out back for everyone cheering, and uh, it's terrible. So, excuse me, I need to play around with the placement of stuff. This is a 13-watt fluorescent tube I used as the desk lamp. It just tilted back up against the wall. Not terrible, but it's certainly not nice. I thought a nice LED panel like I use for the test bench when I'm doing any videos there, like for the mech testing. I thought it'd be good to kind of play here. Mike Vapes uses one. His lighting is spectacular. He has a nice camera, though. I've got my iPhone. I don't know, play around and see. You'd think, having been a photographer, this would have been a no-brainer. Evidently not on there. Let's cut back to see who's popped in here. Any reflections off the glasses? No. Okay. Mr. Sam says, thank you for your incredible support and research. Good guy. Is that for me? If it is, thank you. Little Aussie Bake Shop, welcome. Morning. Forrest, Inspector Gadget. The Vaping Game Cat. Morning in the Netherlands. Oh, yeah. What is it now? What, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.? Thank you for joining us, though. Alex Davila. Royal carpet shout out. I think you need to be financing my rent and my mortgage and my maintenance and maybe my insurance premium, and then we can do that kind of shout out. But welcome and consider yourself shouted out. A yo oh yo royo, or is it Ojo Rojo 28? Hey Mooch saying hello from down under. Thank you for joining us. W. Bryant Jackson stepping up to plate with a super chat, $5. Thank you for your service to the vaping community. You are appreciated. Thank you, sir. And I appreciate the super chat. That will go into the Golisi fund. I need to find $100 or so to, uh, if I have to, buy essentially the other charges and start taking a look and seeing what's going on. David Hunston, maybe we can address that tonight, I hope. Um, oh, yesterday's video. Yeah, I had what, video Friday? No, I had a video, what, Thursday, then Friday or Saturday. Uh, Golisi commented. Then, why am I hearing lots of noises here? And then video Germany. Golisi Germany chimed in on their platforms. Mr. Sam, welcome. Khaleesi Gate. I like that. That's got a nice flow, actually. Or Khaleesi Gate. Khaleesi? Khaleesi. No, Khaleesi is a little too Game of Thrones throny sounding. Inspector Gadget wonders what'll happen if I dig into other charges. I've got over 160 hours now put into this, and there's no money. I'm not being paid. You know, it's an all-consuming full-time job just to do one charger, much less all the other charges. There's got to be a better way, um, other than just saying, unless they give me this, I'm just doing a do not buy recommendation for all of everything from that company, and that's not fair. It's simple. It's the yes or no kind of thing everybody wants to hear, but it's just not fair. David Humston, Battery Mooch, I can send you my S4, no problem, if you want it for testing. Thank you, sir. I tore down one from it was purchased in January 2019. I may put out a call for, I want a first quarter 2020 charger. I want one from 2017 and look at over time, especially since the S6 I was told by a vendor, has had two different AC adapters, and that's where the safety comes in, either in the AC power supply in the charger, because it plugs directly in the wall, or in the AC adapter, like, the laptop brick. But thank you for the offer. Rick Martin, welcome. Evening Mooch. Hope you had a great weekend. Thank you, sir. Hope you did too. Okay. We got today, got Goon 1.5 on the top side, and I'm on Karma's Euphoria. Strawberry, there may be some other stuff in here. See, how close can I get and still be in focus? Around there. Okay, just for reference. I was thinking something a little more spring-like. The weather's been pretty nice here in New York uh, on things. But that's about it. Haven't been zooming around, haven't been vaping much today. For anyone with a question, please, battery space mooch. You don't need a hashtag. You don't need an @ symbol. Battery space mooch, and it'll give you a nice bright red tag. Justin, if you could, just if you see anyone typing out questions to things for me, just give them a little helpful hint in case I'm not seeing their question. Rick Martin is stabilizing a little wood today himself. That's something I would love to be able to try. But it's just not something to do in a Manhattan apartment. Um, Rob Scanlon stepping up to the plate with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir, very much. Thank you for keeping Vapor safe. Well, maybe safer a little bit, but thank you. I appreciate that very much. That's going right into the frack me. Why do I have to put anything aside fund for Golisi charges? Yeah, I should be able to spend this on beer. Unicorn Alien RDTA. The 32 millimeter. Wow. Alan Ohms asks, what charger do I use? Well, I have an Opus uh, uh, BT-C 3400. I forgot which version, but I just use that for topping off for charging. I typically use power supplies, constant current, constant voltage power supplies, just because I got a million of them. They're all over the place in my apartment, and it's easy for me to set those up for any voltage, any amount of current. If I want to do an 8 amp 10-minute top off of something, I can do that, or I can set it to, 100 milliamps and come back in 3 days. I can adjust how complete the charge is because batteries essentially never stop charging. The charger has to go, okay, enough is enough. You're full enough. We're stopping. Whereas a power supply, you can just let it go if you want to get an extra 2 milliampere hours. So nothing to recommend if that's what you were thinking to get to. Nothing to recommend now, and certainly not with Golisi. Not right now. There's just too many unknowns. Nick McMahon, $2 super chat. Thank you very much for the testing. Dude, I appreciate that. Thank you. Christopher Murdoch, CA, $10. Hey, Mooch, so I have one 2700 iJoy 5-leg that will randomly just stop working unless I pull it out of the mech and put it back in. It's not the mod or build, as 5 of the cells work fine. Any ideas? It may be the mod plus cell combination. Try that cell in a regulated device or in another mod just to see, because if it misbehaves in another device completely, now you know the problem's in the battery. But it may have something to do. Some cells have slightly recessed top contacts, like Samsung 30Ts. I think Is it the 40T also? Top contact's a little bit recessed, so it may not be making good contact all the time. It may actually have to do with which way the cell's put in rotated wise, because the contact may be tilted slightly, or the bottom may be dented slightly, so the cell sits a little bit of an angle or not angle, making good contact or not. But I would say try it in a different device and see. Otherwise, I can't think of anything short of incredibly abusive, hard use that causes a protective circuit, a protective element inside to activate and temporarily disable the cell. Nothing should happen. If it's flaky like that, it's either, I think, the mod or both, or there's something really weird going on with it. Certainly if it's running hot or if you're using it hard, stop and just replace the cell. Tracy Thompson, wow. Thank you so much for the super chat. This is for you, brother. Hope it helps. Thank you for your important updates. Always looking out for us. Thank you, Tracy, so much for being a regular here on the show and for the super chat. This is awesome. That's a Golisi charger right there, I think. How much are those things? I'll go down the list, but I think there's like 5 that I have to well, the nerd in me wants to get to take them apart and take a look, but we'll see if I'm backed into that corner. If not, use that for some other testing. Range of Vapes asks, have I been able to identify which chargers are OEM over white label? Just no. It's so many companies say they make their own chargers. So many companies, well, not so many companies, but many companies, of course, are going to farm out, contract for those charges to be made by somebody else, ODM, OEM them. Companies like Xstar, I would believe that big engineering staff and all, I would say they make all their own, or they design all their own, and they make contract with a factory, but it's their designs. Almost everybody else, I'd say, may not even design them, and certainly doesn't manufacture them. You've got to sell extraordinary numbers of chargers to make that worthwhile. It'd be like saying, oh yeah, eFest, an electronic trading company, would have their own battery factory. No, no, they're not spending millions of dollars on that for their batteries. There's no profit in it for them then. They just contract out with a factory and privately label, brand those cells, either rewraps or now I think a lot of the smaller China factory cells, Yangtze New Energy Company and others. Justin says the S4 is $20 on Wish. I've never used Wish, but okay, that sounds good. I'd probably get. I would try to find it somewhere. Well, actually, maybe Wish. Maybe that's where a lot of people buy them. Tracy Thompson, I love your knowledge, and you've helped me a lot in the short period of time I'm regular because you're honest and always on top of stuff. Thank you for those kind words. Rick Crawford, dude, hello. Jeremy V, thanks for joining us. All right, the topic of the night. And a vape, and we'll sometimes, and I might be wrong, but I've heard rumors that these things work better if you actually put a battery in them. It's in the charger. One of those little quick things I thought I would do, like, what was it, 3 weeks ago when I said, oh, yeah, I'll re-wick right before the show, and then I completely forgot. Well, no battery. It's okay. Joe Ryan, the 30T has the same mAh per gram as the 20S and a more wholesome discharge. That's why I love a good 21700. Yeah, 30T is hard to beat for high power. The Molicel P42A, if you're down 75 watts or less or something, if you're down under, I don't know, 15, 20 watts, something like that, VapCell's got those 5,000 milliamp hour ones. And Samsung, by the way, has the new 20S, 5,000 milliamp hour, really nice, really 4,900. They rated at 20 amps with some ridiculous temperature limited rating, like 30 amps or something. I don't know if it's excess inventory is floating around yet, but that's a nice step up. If that was a true 20 amp, 5,000 mAh, that'd be 60 watts, 5,000 milliamp. Can you imagine a dual 21700 at 10,000 mAh? Or series mech with 21700s with the 20 amp rating. Wow. Yeah, Jared Key. Yeah, it's how ironic. Yeah, vaping Irish, definitely. But that's where it's classic because we spend too much time with the batteries. I think if I wasn't the battery guy, I would be thinking, oh, I don't need to top off the battery. It'll be fine. No, it's the battery guy. Oh no, power, power, top it off. Rah, 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 rah. Yeah, Forest, battery mooch, but you without a battery. Sorry, battery mooch, but you without a battery is a little ironic. I think it's incredibly ironic. Couldn't plan that kind of thing. Rick Martin runs Samsung 50Es at 10 amps. If you mount along at 15 watts, you're at about 5 amps in a single battery device. Your wattage, multiply the current rating or the current by about 3, roughly 3, and that gives you an approximate for the wattage you can run, or divide the wattage by 3 to get roughly the current that's being drawn from the battery. But worst case. Rob Scanlon, I donate the Mooch $1 every time I buy a new cell. Well, I like that. That'd be a nice national policy. I'd be able to buy plenty of chargers with that. I'd be able to buy mechs then and be able to test a lot more mechs. Okay, that one stopped me right in my tracks. Ranger Vapes, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the incredible $50 super chat. Buy some chargers. Would love to see more X-Star reviews. And maybe I should contact them too and just say, hey, because I'd like X-Star chargers. Excuse me. And maybe it just ask them, excuse me, to say, why don't I do, just the mega video kind of thing or the mega reviews? But that will get some things. But for your 50, I'll put that towards X-Star. Thank you. Okay, our topic, since we've already blown 15 minutes. The latest on the Golisi Gate, the where we are. And I'll start at the beginning for those who aren't familiar with it. And if you have any questions, I won't be looking at chat for a little while. Be looking at my notes. So on April 16th or 17th, it's a little confusing which, the European Commission, which is kind of the regulatory arm of the European Union, posted a recall notice for the Golisi S4 charger. This is a wall plug charger, namely a power cord straight into the wall, no USB, no AC adapter brick, no wall wart you plug into the wall, for two different safety defects. One of them is something called inadequate creepage distance between the mains, AC mains, 120, 240 volt, and quote, user accessible areas. Now, the creepage distance just talks about the distance along the circuit board between 2 points, not 2 points through the air, but along the circuit board. And that's important because if there's crap on the circuit board, it could be more conductive. So that's an important note for later. The other defect was insufficient insulation between the mains and user accessible areas. Now, there are no power cords inside the S4 charger, but there is insulation in a transformer in there because you've got coils of wire, some insulation, more coils of wire. So I don't know exactly what parts of the charger they're talking about, but quote, the user can come into contact with live parts and receive an electric shock due to these defects. Now, since this is the 120, 240 volt mains, that's really serious. People, we're all aware, lots of people have died from touching 120, 240. The circumstances matter, but no matter what, this is serious, and it's marked serious for the recall notice. Now, only the S4 charger has a recall notice. No other chargers have been mentioned. I can find in a worldwide database of recalls. And I looked up a couple manufacturers. Nobody we use. There are no other Golisis being mentioned in the recall notice on the European Commission report or recall notice. The importers are instructed to get the charges back from the end users. Now, this is in the EU. Now, this notice was submitted to the European Commission because each of the member states in the European Union submits these things to the EC, and the EC puts up, there's a safety alert system with the unfortunate name of RAPEX. It can be pronounced another way, which I won't do. They changed the name, but it's a safety alert system. Now, in Finland, it's just a little background, 1 minute of background. There's an organization in Finland called TUKES. I'm sure it's now pronounced that, TUKES. It seems to be like the Consumer Product Safety Commission in the US, where they do risk-based surveillance. Namely, they determine the risk a product might present to end users depending on what the product is and how it's used. Things like baby cribs, child toys, medical devices, things where a defect can be really, really serious. If there's a defect in a basketball, most governments aren't too worried about that. A defect in a medical device? Yeah. Defect in a charger? Yeah. So evidently the S4 from either two, so they buy products. Consumer Product Safety Commission, buys products off the market and uses them. So either TÜKS, which is the national authority for reporting to the European Commission about things that they find that aren't good, tested S4 and found it to have two safety defects. Now, the recall notice marks or notes counterfeit: unknown. Now, that can either mean it's a fake, or they don't know if fakes exist, or it can mean they don't know if they tested a fake or not. That doesn't mean it's a fake. That doesn't mean it's not a fake. It means we have no idea whether it's a fake or not. Now, Golisi, Germany, posted a note that, with my Google translation, seems to say, hey, the box is in English. We have, which our boxes aren't in English, or something was in English, but ours aren't, the ones we sell. And we have authenticity codes and all kinds of stuff. So we don't feel this recall applies to any of the chargers that we sell. Golisi Germany sells Golisi chargers. So they're not recalling anything. Now, okay, but all that hinges on whether what's in your box from Golisi China factory has a defect or not. So there's still the matter of, are the charges defective or not? Now, Golisi China says they have valid safety testing done in 2017. Now, just a background notice on that. For the CE mark, namely, this is what the testing was done for, to put the CE mark on their chargers so they can sell them in the European Union. Now, companies are allowed to self-certify for CE to sell in the EU, and they often use outside labs to say they pass certain tests because it's too expensive to have an in-house lab for most. But they can use that, and then they just say, yes, we had all the tests done, and you put them into, you put them into a report, and then you can have a declaration of conformity and say, yes, we passed all the testing. Now, Golisi says they passed all the testing. I had some serious concerns about one of the test reports. And I posted that. I mentioned that in my YouTube video, my Minding Your Mods video. Now, Golisi on Friday or Saturday, all depends if you're talking China or like European time or American time, Golisi China posted on their Facebook page, the Golisi Facebook page, a statement that saying that, yes, their test report, and this is the safety test report. There are other test reports. There's a test report for being compatible with other equipment and not making other equipment nearby freak out. And there's another test report for FCC testing so you can sell it in the US. I will be addressing those in an upcoming video. But all of this right now is just about just one of the three reports. That's one I had the biggest issues with. It's the only one I've looked close enough at to comment on and make the video about. Golisi said, yes, the report's unconventional, but still valid. And they also said that no one has complained to Golisi about being shocked. I'm going to repeat that. Golisi is essentially saying there's not an issue because no one has complained about being shocked yet. Namely, recall. We don't care about a recall because no one's told us they died yet. No one's told us that, they had to have their heart restarted by someone doing CPR. What? The recall still exists for something. If there is a defect, the defect exists independently of whether someone has complained to you or not about that. Golisi also says that no one can get shocked unless poking around inside. That's not what the recall says. The recall says that a user can come into contact with live parts in the, quote, secondary circuit, which is the circuit that forms the actual charger part, namely the positive, negative metal parts of your contacts there. Positive, 4 positive contacts in the charger, 4 negative contacts. So the recall notice says you can touch those. So Golisi is also wrong on that. Now Golisi China said they posted new test results, but they when due to their concerns about the EU recall notice, and if they're concerned about, part of me thinks if you're concerned about the recall notice, then why mention no one's complained about being shocked and no one can get shocked? Why even retest then? But okay, they retested. They said they retested. Um, they posted a link to a Google Drive on Facebook, but no one can get access to the test because it seems it's still private. It's not set to public. They said, hey, if you can't get in, email us. A bunch of people have emailed them. We haven't heard anything in 36 hours or plus, something like that. So right now, we can't get to the test results and see what's going on. Taking a water break, and we'll look at some chat here. Stuart, you're right. If not enough separation, you can end up with 120 or 240 AC on the battery contacts. That's what the recall is for. Rob Scanlon, Vaping Iris, that was kind of my question. Would a recall only occur if it was creepage from high voltage to low voltage? You can check the recall notice. The link is in my Minding Your Moss episode about all this. But essentially, it is creepage distance on the circuit board, but there's also an insufficient insulation defect. So that could be in the transformer. That's the only place I can think of it. Otherwise, there's a creepage distance violation according to the recall notice, which, along the circuit board there. Either one of those defects can result in the AC mains voltage being present on user accessible parts of the charger, what they call the secondary circuit. But that would be the positive or negative contact of the battery. And part of what goes on with like Finland submitting this, Finland found it. They submit it to the EC. The EC issues a recall notice. Now other countries in the EU, it's up to them whether they go, holy crap, okay, we're going to get some of those and test them, and then they can take their own actions in addition to the European Union recall, and that includes America. But with a million things being defective every day, are they ever going to get round to testing the Golisi S4 charger? We have no idea. David Blackmon, thank you so much for the super chat, $9.99, just a bit to help you out. That's a big bit. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Brad Palmer, the Ford Pinto saga. Exactly. Or Firestone tires, laptops, cell phones. Forrest, I know this is not the point, but just a question out of curiosity. How much safer would these chargers be if they were plugged into an appropriate rated GFI, ground fault interrupter outlet? I don't think at all, because that, well, actually, I don't know, because ground fault breakers trip if there's current flow through the ground and/or inappropriate mismatched current between the neutral and the positive. So I don't know if it would trip if you're short circuiting. Don't know. I don't know if that would make any difference in safety. Marty Steins, I charge to my mod, so I don't have to worry about bad chargers. Well, it all depends. That assumes that your USB charging adapter is safe. There's an AC to DC power supply inside that. The same thing that there is in the Golisi S4 charger. AC to DC voltage power supply inside of it, and there's one to make the the USB voltage. So that still has to be safe. There are a lot of very bad, very, very dangerous, cheap junk USB chargers out there. $2, $3 each, completely insufficient insulation from one side to the other. Really sketchy, dangerous pieces of junk. There's some YouTube videos about some of these. I've opened up a couple, and shocking. Like 1 millimeter distance between 240-volt input and the 5-volt USB ground. Whoa, that's bad. Vaping Irish. Probably didn't use double insulation on the transformer. It could be. I opened up an S4, and there was double tape, but the tape has to have for the insulation between the coils, but the tape has to have a high enough melting point. And also, I did notice incredibly close spacing between the wire leads coming out of the transformer to the soldering points. I don't know if that's what they're talking about. The tape stops, wire leads emerge, other wire leads emerge, and they were less than a millimeter apart. I don't remember if they were between the two secondary windings or the primary or secondary, but there's really some sketchy spacing there. But I'm not an AC power supply specialist, so don't know. And I didn't, so that's why I didn't mention any of this stuff in my videos or anything like that. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, anybody, Justin, if you see questions, anybody asking questions you think might be to me, let them know. Battery Space Mooch. All right. So, where are we now? So Golisi has not responded to requests to unlock the files as of a couple of hours ago. Basically, European Commission says recall, and Golisi says everything's okay. That's where we are right now. Hopefully, we can see the new test soon. I still have many questions for Golisi. There's still issues that I have with some of their other testing. Basically, our questions you might have is are all S4s affected? This is my personal opinion, but I think yes. I think Golisi makes the S4 because it has a universal power supply. You can plug it into anywhere from like 110 volts to 240 volts. So it's not made for one country. This is good business for any company to have, a universal product. And then what you do is you just ship a different power cord. If you have 10,000 of them going to America, you put the American power cord, US power cord in those boxes. Some are going to New Zealand, you put a New Zealand power cord in those. In the meantime, you save money by only making one charger. So I think if this is a genuine recall, those weren't fakes, that all the S4s, if there is a defect, those two defects, it could be present in any of them worldwide. There's no proof, there's no information. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Golisi just goes, don't worry about it. We got tests. What should you do? My personal opinion, because we don't have information, we don't know what's going on yet. Golisi isn't saying, oh, those are fakes. They haven't said that yet. They just said, oh, we got new tests. You can't access them, but everything's fine. Well, that's not enough. My recommendation, if I had an S4, I wouldn't use it just because we don't know. And this is worldwide. There's no need to throw it away because we don't know if there's an issue or not. Now, for the S2, O2, and O4 charges from them, which are also wall plug chargers, out of an abundance of caution, I'd say don't use those either because a company will often share circuitry or even share the same circuit board amongst multiple products. Until we know more, because we just don't know, I can't tell you, oh, yeah, that's totally safe. All I can tell you is I don't know. And just me personally, if I had an S2, O2, O4, I wouldn't use it. I would get a different charger. Now, the S6 uses a brick, an AC adapter, like a laptop. I don't know anything about that, but I haven't heard anything. There's no S6 recall or anything like that. I haven't heard anything one way or the other. It's your call. There's nothing to indicate there's any problem, but no one can stand up and say, oh, it's totally safe. We can't do that. But there's just nothing about the S6 or any of their other chargers. No information one way or the other. Or for Xstars or eFest or Nightcores, no information one way or the other. That means nothing bad, nothing good. We're not even looking at them yet. So I know some people are going to run off screaming into the night. Mooch doesn't know if Xstars are safe. Mooch doesn't know if eFests are safe. I'm not saying that. Nobody knows one way or the other. There's no information, which means we can reach no conclusion. So we can't say anything about it. I see so often people taking what I say and just extrapolating it out into wild statements. We can't say anything about any other charges. It's totally your call. Now, if you have questions, like a lot of us do, you can contact Golisi at info at golisi.com, just Golisi.com. Ask them all the questions that you have for me. Let me know what they say. If they ignore you, let me know. You can reach me at batterymooch@yahoo.com. And I just like saying Yahoo. That's why I have a Yahoo account. I think it's hysterical. It's just where all the Yahoos go. Um, Now, maybe you're thinking you've had your S4 for months, years, and no problems. That doesn't matter. It means nothing. These defects may take time or a particular environment to manifest themselves. There could be flexing as heat it cools. There could be melting of things with heat, impact or vibration, pollution, what the test reports call pollution, dust. Along the circuit board, it may take 1,000 volts to jump the distance. That's safe. But once you build up dust or a thousandth of an inch thick film of e-liquid, now maybe it only takes 100 volts to jump. There's a danger. That's why, when they specify how far apart things have to be in these devices, they take into account the level of pollution, quote unquote, namely what can get in there and screw up the surface of the circuit board and stuff. These defects can happen if they're real, if it's in for genuine S4s, could happen instantly or never. I mean, think about Firestone tires. All those tires years ago were recalled, not because they all blow out on the first day. It's because any one of them can blow out at any time for any person, which means you got to take all of them back. That's what a recall is about. So if you use an S4 for 2 years, that means nothing because tomorrow it could have the defect. The potential risk is there no matter what. Now, it's still your call, though. A recall doesn't mean you have to do something. You get to choose what your reaction is going to be to all this. I wish they all had UL testing, not UL, so we could check the databases to confirm things. But right now, um, nobody does. But this is where we are now, and each person just has to say to themselves, based on the information we have now, which is changing almost every day, at least during weekdays, what they want to do. Hey, you might go, hey, the only charger I have is the S4. I have no more money. I'm not buying another fucking charger. I'll just take a chance that the very low chance that something can go wrong won't. I think that makes sense. Or someone else might go, oh, hell no, I'm not taking a chance with this. I got another charger. I'll buy another one. And they're never going to touch their S4 again. I don't know. It's up to you. All I'm doing for all of this, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm giving you the information for you to make your own decision. And that's it. An educated vapor. That's it. That's all I want you to be. So you can decide. And let's take a look at chat. Ignacio Linares, free to wreck, says, I have the S4 7 months and I have separate from the ground for better cooling and has always worked fine. It is true that sometimes smells. I stopped using it. Yeah, I've gotten a couple of people sending me pictures of blown S4s. One with a melted back, it bubbled up. Another one with, fully charged circuit board. So there's some overheating issues, certainly, with some of them, or maybe they all run hot. Some of them just end up overheating. Justin says they pulled the S4 charger from Amazon. How do you know? Um, do they actually say there was a recall notice for that? Or do you just see that it's, not available? Because they run out of stock all the time. I'm just writing that down here. Where can I put that? Right up here. Okay. But thank you for letting me know that. Scrolling down, scrolling down. Thank you for that link, Justin. Yeah, he's the charger. HKJ is the charger master guru. He doesn't open them up and do some of the safety looking and internal temperature stuff, but brilliant performance stuff. And he tests all the AA's and NiCads also, which I don't do. I just do the lithium-ion stuff. Joe Ryan, defects only happen to other people. He'll be fine. There, you see, Joe is fine. Anchor are legit. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're one of the better manufacturers. Hawke, Anchor. I have an Anchor 60 watt USB-C unit, just amazing unit, and it's absolutely compatible with everything I've plugged it into for ultra high speed, high voltage, 45 watt, 60 watt USB charging. Justin Vickers, it currently just says currently unavailable. Okay, yeah, for that, I wouldn't extrapolate that out to mean they pulled it from Amazon. It just means, it just may be, hey, we haven't been able to get any for months, um, and so it's unavailable, especially with the whole COVID thing going on right now. So I don't know if I'd look too much for it. Victor, Siak has one. Yes, Amazon France put a recall notice for the S4. Amazon France recall notice. Victor, could you post a link for that? Oh, you can't post a link. Amazon France recall notice. I'll take a look at that. Thank you very much. Rob Skyland just found pages of S4s on Amazon in the US. Well, that I can believe. Where did I just put? I have got more. Oh, up here. Got more post-its floating around here. Kreskov, show us your t-shirt. This is an old one. This is the Suck My Mod, one of the, when did I get this one? 2016 or something? If you have any questions, battery space Mooch in front. I get a nice red tag in front of it. Oh, Aroho, yo, 28. Mooch, I have two E-Fest, I guess, Luke V4s and a Golisi O4, and the O4 does get a bit warmer. What than what it should, just to let you know. Thank you for that. Yeah, some run like the Nicor AC ones, Nicors with the AC plug get much too hot. I mean, they really heat up the batteries like 50 Celsius if you got all the slots filled. And others, like the Nicor USB ones, don't get hot at all because there's no hot power supply inside of it emitting its own heat. Amazon Germany pulled the complete S4 page. It's 404 not found. I'm gonna need a bigger piece of paper here for this stuff. Thank you guys for these tips. Because there's so many, I've put in, I mean, 3 weeks full-time work here on this, here for one charger. And so your tips are invaluable for me for this kind of stuff because I just can't go looking at all the things that can happen. Germany pulled S4. Okay. This Malfuga here says, you've probably answered this before, but I was wondering if fast charging on newer smartphones was going to be bad for battery longevity. So fast charging on anything is. The slower the charge, the better. At a certain point, slower charging, yes, theoretically, of course, it helps. But if it's a difference between 500 cycles and 501 cycles, it just doesn't make a practical difference. If your batteries are getting anything more than a few degrees above room temperature, they're aging faster. And it's up for you then to decide convenience versus aging. And which is more important to you? It may be at different times. Like sometimes you just need to fast charge this because you're leaving the house in a half hour and you need to get this phone charged up. Other times, like for overnight charging, I would say don't use a fast charger. Find a nice slow charger. If it's wireless, then get a 5 watt charger, instead of a 15 watt wireless charger. Use the 5 watt one for slow charging, 15 watt for fast. If you're doing it wired through an AC adapter and you have maybe a 15 watt or 40 watt, 18 watt, whatever adapter, well, get a little 5 watt adapter, a good one, like from Apple or Samsung, a really, really good one. You'll be running it at its full 5 watts. So you want a good high quality one because it's going to be on for hours and hours and running hot. You want a good quality one to be able to survive that. And you end up charging your phone a lot slower. Christopher Taylor asked if I've done any charging on the Falcon. Not yet. The 44 and 88, not yet. It's finances. I just don't have the money because I need to test two at once, two at least. But I've had some great donations here. If it doesn't go towards Golisi chargers, no, actually for that one from Ranger, I want to get some X-Stars or the chargers. But I'm hoping someday. It's just the couple $100 I need to test those. And since I can't use them after I test them because they're being drop tested, they're being stripped. I've gotten a couple chargers almost kind of working after my testing, but otherwise they're pretty well ruined. Justin says his Samsung S20 Ultra has 25-watt charging. The battery doesn't get that warm. Excellent. And a lot of it, and he brings up a point that a lot of it has to do with the phone or the iPad or the tablet or whatever. Um, and how well does it sink heat away from the cells? 15 watts to one phone might be way too hot. 15 watts to another phone may not get warm at all. Marty Steins, thank you very much. $1.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Chris Shower. Shower. Dang it. I'll try once and that's it. Finally made a live show. Thank you for joining us. That's what Justin does. Charging at night with a 1 amp brick. Okay. Makes sense. And that's what I do. If I have to do any overnight charging, I put the phone in a little stainless steel bowl. And I got enough things that are going to blow up around here. And then I use a small Apple cube. I would say don't charge overnight at all when avoidable. I agree. I take the risk, but I throw it into a bowl. But for anyone else to ask, I go, don't. Because it's very different from what you advise to someone else versus what you decide for yourself. Because I don't know what chargers they're using. I don't know what condition it's in, what condition the cables are in, what condition the battery is in their phone. I can't say what's good for me is good for anybody else. Whoa, holy mackerel, 10 minutes left. Chris says, thank you for your years of education for the community and insight to help us achieve our unicorn vape. Thank you very much for your kind words. Battery space mooch in the front, folks. Also, Ulight, what's the likelihood that at least one cell in an e-bike battery pack with a battery management system made with your recommended cell would die after a few years of usage? Incredibly high. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. At least one cell will die because the cells just don't last years, especially in e-bikes, where you've got cells packed closely together, typically waterproofed, so there's very little cooling. So the middle cells are getting hot as Hades, if not the outside cells too. And if you're thinking of like spot welding them or soldering them together and you're worried about replacing a cell, no, plan for at least one cell failing. Absolutely. Your BMS hopefully shuts down, but unless you have individual cell level protection so you can remove just the cell electrically, then, let's say, if you got 5 cells in parallel, you protect all of them individually, well, then it's okay. You're not worried about that one cell. It's just dead. When enough cells fail, you replace the whole pack. But if you've got 5 cells in parallel, and I don't know how many in series, if one cell goes bad, it can short circuit the other cells and start throwing a runaway or take down the whole parallel group. Thank you, Justin. Christoph, is charging my batteries for a long time, even when they are fully charged, make them lose capacity? Not with a good charger, because a good charger will turn off. That's it. They'll let's say you charge them really, really slow. Even at the end of a really slow charge, your charger will go, okay, they're done, and turn off, and it'll wait who knows how long till they typically drop down to, I don't know, 4.05, 4.1 volts, and then it'll top them off again, and then slowly wait. It might be a week, it might be a month, who knows, and then top them off again. But I say take them out of the charger because we don't know. It's just no need to leave them in the charger. It doesn't provide any benefit, and it provides some risks depending on the charger. Frank Peters, thank you for the kind words. Lynn Smith just checked Amazon UK, can't find any Golisi chargers. I'd like to know if they ever had Golisi chargers. That would be. Christopher Murdoch, I have an EFS C4 charger I recently replaced, and have I tested this model? No, I haven't. If not, would love to ship it to you for your torture. Thank you very much for the offer, but I would need 2, and they'd have to be new, because let's say I find something that goes wrong, or something isn't accurate in the one. What I don't know then is it present in all their C4s, or was it due to use that you had, that you'd given it? So for me, I would say thank you for the offer. I appreciate that, but I would testing any charge I need 2, and they have to be new. At least 2. I'd love to test like 5 something, because you need to check unit to unit consistency, especially if one of them fails, because you need to know, you need to have another one to compare. About 7 or 8 minutes. Yeah, not another vape show tonight. They asked me to watch just to see there's something Golisi related on it. One of the guys I think is getting some kind of grief from somewhere. I don't know where. Um, so I think they had some questions for me. Fogdog asks, speaking of mechs, huh? What do you know about the Snowcap Mods Avalanche um, 2X700 mech squonk? Tony B reviewed it the other day. I haven't watched. I have got such a monstrous backlog of videos to watch. I'm never going to be able to get through them. I don't know a thing about it. A mech squonker. Sorry, couldn't even guess at the performance because it's so much of it is just the tiniest little details that can generate a 3-watt power loss versus a third of a watt power loss. Rob Scanlon, where can I submit a feature request for your yet to be revealed charger? Rob, why don't you, and don't think this is something that's appearing like before next summer. Right now, it's not even officially a product development thing. But if you have a feature request, just any way you want to PM me, it's fine. Otherwise, batterymooch@yahoo.com if there's something you'd love to see in a charger. And that's an open request to anybody. Um, if nothing else, it becomes something, even if I'm not going to do it, it becomes something that can become part of a database or a pile of things in my mind to mention to other charger companies who I talk to. And I talk to multiple charger companies. Matt Law, when will you be testing the new Tesla 21700? I didn't know they had a new one. There's talk about stuff in the labs, their million mile or million kilometer one, which is just, one prototype pack. They're not making them yet. It has to appear in the secondary markets. There has to be excess inventory for us to have access to anything, or someone within Tesla has to send them to me, but there's no reason for that. All of Tesla's batteries, though, are standard, high capacity, 2170s, 21700s. There's nothing inherently special about them for anybody outside of Tesla. For Tesla, they're incredibly special because they match the price points and the size and the construction method that makes it efficient and profitable for them to use them to get the performance they need. May need very specific shape to the discharge curve so they can match it to particular battery management systems so it can work in particular environmental conditions for their cars and stuff like that. Microenvironment inside the car, but also macro environment, outdoors, what's going on. So for us, none of that optimization is of any use to us. It's just another, high capacity 10 amp battery. Celtic Wolf, thank you so much for your extremely valued information and testing. All you do is very impressive and so needed. Thank you for keeping us safe and well informed. Thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate that. Rob Scanlon, feature requests, one button press to charge the storage level, second button press to fully charge. Now what happens though for the people who press too quick or forget and they're all pissed off because the charger only went to storage level and they came back and the battery's half charged? It's something I thought of an automated procedure for that. There's something occurred, and then I realized there's so many frustrating little things that could happen on there. I like the idea. What I think I would do is, look, you put a battery in, it just gets charged. If you hold like the button down and put the battery in, then it's a storage charge. It's something like that. Um, but I like the idea. I think that's a worthy feature. Marty Steins asks if the Tesla 21700s are like $30 a piece. If they're available now, that's the earlier generation 21700. Though I tested ones a year or two ago that have the recessed top contact, and I wasn't even sure that it had the protective element inside there that all our cells have, because Tesla protects their cells at the cell level with the battery management system. So why pay more for a cell that has internal protection in it? But we need the cells with internal protection in there. So with the recessed top contact, it was useless for vaping, and it was just a basic cell. Rob Scanlon says, "Screw them." I don't know who he wants to screw, but I think he's feeling randy tonight. He just wants an easy storage mode. Oh well, come on. How much easier is it? How hard is it to hold the button and then put your cell in? Or the second button press is for storage, because the majority of uses will be for charge. So you want an alternative user mode for the alternative modes of charge, like a storage charge. And what do we do if you're above What if it's at 4 volts or something like that? Now I need a discharge feature to bring it down to 3.8 or something like that. I still think it's a good feature to have. We're at about 2 minutes. Get your last questions in, folks. Vaping opposite or slide switch? Yeah. I normally I like discrete switches, just me personally. I'd like to just see 4 or 5 switches in the back for configuration, but it all adds cost, and then they're all failure points on there. So there's that, and particularly when you're going for high volume, say, oh yeah, it's an extra 50 cents in parts, so it's an extra, typically about $2.50. We have to add retail for that. And people are like, what? No, I'm not going to use any of those freaking switches. Where if you put it into button hold downs or some kind of alternative way of accessing them, not having to put a discrete switch, then it becomes easier to put in. Niji, good point. LiFePO4 mode could double as a storage charge for normal batteries. Absolutely. 3.6 volts or 3.7. That's perfectly fine for storage mode for our batteries. Thank you. That's a great idea. Mark Lane, our Arizona advocate, his charge is acting up. Read one of his batteries is NiCad, but is lithium-ion. Charged it to only 2 volts and showed 100% charge at NiCad. It sounds like your battery may have been over discharged, because I see that all the time in my testing. If I bring a battery down to like 1 volt or something to test, does it slow charge up? And I put it in. If I bring it down too low, it says, oh, a NiCad. Where if I leave it at like 2 volts, then it'll go, okay, that's just a very over discharged lithium ion. So your charger may not be acting up. Your battery it may be, but there's a possibility your battery is just at such a low voltage that it thought it was a NiCad. And I would certainly not do that again, but bring it to that low voltage is not good for the battery. Walter, last question. Walter Poblit, what do you think about some MollyCell P26As with the QR code and other markings blacked off? The seller says they're blacked off at the factory. I don't believe that for a second. No, they are not blacked off at the factory. They're blacked off maybe by the reseller or the importer, but there's no reason for a factory to black them off. That doesn't make sense to me. I think those are unauthorized cells, so they don't want to be traced when they send them out. So they just ink over the whole label with them so they can sell them off on there. And with that, Justin, they talked about the blacked off before. Okay, thank you. With that, and it's 7:58, not another vape show. Hope to see you over there. I'll be in chat as soon as I can, but I appreciate everyone coming by tonight. Thank you for your patience and for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for the unbelievable super chats. That's going to fund a lot of chargers, and I hope everyone stays safe. I hope everyone stays sane. Take care.